Welcome to the Energy Hour. The Energy Hour is brought to you by Quality Home Improvement, Southern California's premier residential and commercial contractor, making homes and businesses energy efficient, one building at a time.
Hey, Mark, what's going on?
Chris, we're back.
You know, today is episode 43, believe it or not.
I like it.
We're almost up to the big 5-0.
I'm feeling older.
Right? And we got a lot of good things to talk about today. Unfortunately, some of the things we have to talk about is this coronavirus.
Yeah, how could you not, as they taught you in school, talk about current events?
Current events, you know, one of the things that I've done since I'm getting a little bit older, right? I don't try to suck up to the TV and just plug in, if you will.
No go.
You know, I can't put a vein. I can't
IV it.
I can't IV this stuff, man. You know, I'm sitting there and I'm seeing people that are like just sucked into this, and it's good to be aware. Okay, let me clear something up. It's good to be aware, like awareness that I'm going to kind of get dicey a little bit later, talking about countries being aware prior to letting us know.
Sure.
Thank you, China. But anyways, you know, I mean, awareness is crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm aware and I'm concerned because I've got a friend on LinkedIn. He just came up with this video and he says he just contracted the coronavirus. Yeah. You know, God willing, he's going to be safe. And, you know, he's a strong young guy, and I think he's going to beat this thing. But young people are getting this. 18-year-olds are getting this. It's no longer the fat guy, you know, the guy that's 65 years old, because I'm a fat guy, right? So
you're fluffy.
I'm fluffy. There we go. I just don't want to, I just can't say, you can't just peel it back and say, oh, it's these diabetics. Come on. You can't do that.
Our society, I've learned as I've become an adult and beyond.
Beyond?
Well, that's because the weekend's coming, so okay. It'll be an and beyond. We love to, from top down, pigeonhole things, people, because we're instant gratification. So when a scenario comes up, whether it's a particular new model of car that hit the road, you pigeonhole that into a sports car, an SUV, a crossover. You pigeonhole as quickly as you can.
Gotcha.
And so here we go again. You talk about, you know, first of all, anybody, and I'm not trying to take away from the corona thing, but it's in the genre of a flu, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's what they say.
So anybody, you know, a 6-month-old can catch the flu. A 600-month-old can catch the flu. So it seems to be a little bit of a shot in the dark as to who it affects most. And if you listen to
it's a moving target, I would assume.
Yeah, we don't have the answers. And when the dust settles and the scorecard is the ink dries, you know, in a year, for argument's sake,
then we can kind of look at it.
We can go back and go, you know what? It was predominantly elderly people that were affected, but it's gonna. There's a lot of moving parts to it, and I'm up to speed on local stuff. I actually follow the Inland Empire Riverside County Sheriff.
Oh, okay.
And we just lost 2 deputies.
I heard that, man. That sucks.
Within a week, and they weren't
a week of each other.
Yeah, it just this past week.
Wow,
2 of
man.
them, and they weren't 18, and they weren't 80. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're probably in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah, I'd say 40 and then early 50s.
Protecting us, and all of a sudden they get this nasty virus doing their job, and now they've kicked the bucket, and that just sucks.
Yeah. So what I'm illustrating is, you know, whether it's an infant baby or somebody that's a solid 52, for argument's sake, he's a sheriff, so he's probably got a good heart rate.
Yeah.
But he's gone.
You know, is it right to say it does not discriminate?
Very well put.
Is that a good word?
Very well put.
I heard recently, this is going to throw you for a loop.
I'm not scared.
Dogs can get it.
No.
No, I'm not kidding you. Somebody said their pet got the coronavirus. I'm just like,
no.
I look down at my 3 dogs. I'm like,
no.
Well?
No. So the story there is...
There's the shovel.
The story there is that his coronas disappeared out of the fridge. He drank them, and he had to explain to the wife, and then he pointed at the dog. And so the dog got the coronavirus. That's what that's about.
Oh, Lord. Maybe. That's possible. But
animals can't contract nor give it.
Okay.
That's a fact.
All right.
We know that much.
I have 3 dogs. One of them's named Penny. She's like a pug / Jack Russell. It's a crazy combo. Little head, fat body. It's really cool. I call her the eating machine.
Yeah.
She just like eats everything in the house. She looks up with these brown eyes, and you can see the white in the corner.
Yep.
And I heard that dog thing, and I look down at her and I go,
"It's over."
Well, are you infected, Penny? She gave me that smile, and that was it.
Yeah.
But
Penny's in the clear.
So you don't think dogs can get it?
I know they can't. Animals can't get it.
Okay,
It's
so
a person thing.
I don't have to worry about
See how selfish we are again.
Right? I mean, I don't have to worry
We're
about
hoarding the coronavirus.
We don't want to give anybody it but us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Selfish.
All right. So that's good. My grandson's gonna think better of that because he was thinking that his bearded dragon
Nope.
would catch it and he would be stiff in a few days.
Nope.
Okay, that's good. So my dogs are clear. The bearded dragon is clear.
Animals are out of play.
All right. You don't have a bird, do you?
No.
Okay, I want a bird. I don't know. Maybe it'll catch it.
Boy,
Maybe.
there was
Who knows?
There was a hard right.
We got animals. Everybody
It's
in
animal
my
hour now.
That's right. Everybody in my house is a female, except for my grandson. And if it wasn't for him, I probably would have pulled my eyeballs out by now.
Yeah.
Fortnite, my grandson, I'm good to go, man.
I can.
You can concur?
I can appreciate.
Appreciate?
That, yeah.
Okay. All right. So the coronavirus, man. This whole thing started just a little while ago, and our friends over in China, they kind of kept it a secret, right? And then all of a sudden, I guess that would be kind of okay, or no?
I don't think anything like that's okay, and I
I mean,
here we go. We're probably going to start stepping on each other, so I'll do my best to be courteous because I think we share some thoughts, and then maybe not so many.
Let's put it out there,
But
man.
here's my experience with, watch me be PC here, just because it'll be a challenge.
Sure.
He's
He's sitting in your chair, Rob. So yeah.
Well, that's
All right.
why I sound and look good. I have a good amount of experience in my life and in business with different cultures. And what I've watched over the past 20 years regarding the Chinese culture is very, very close to the vest.
Yep.
Good on them for wanting to control. They feel that's how they need to run their country, which is fine because we're the opposite. We let us run wild and free, and it works for us.
Capitalism, right?
Yeah. So no
It's
problem.
good.
Everybody chooses their poison. That's fine. But what I have seen regarding that culture, quite often on paper, in business, and literally live, is it tends to be a very close to the vest culture, and they hate to admit error.
Hate to admit error.
Hate to admit error.
So it's
See how PC I'm doing this?
Yeah, so it's like I knocked over the bucket full of sand.
But it only had a quarter cup of sand in it. It didn't have a full bucket.
Okay. So it's
See what I just did there?
Yeah, it's not important to let anybody know.
So world,
I see.
the bucket it was only quarter full, so we're all good.
Yeah, so that makes sense to them.
When the reality is high piled like a frosty cone, vanilla. You follow?
I mean, the first thing that should have happened is the bat signal should have been blasted up into the sky and said, "Holy shit, Batman, we got a problem," right?
Yeah.
I mean, they let us know like after the fact.
It tends to be those folks tend to be, and I don't mean to sound disparaging, derogatory, but it's my experience, so I can speak to it. Somewhat of a selfish culture, even within their own, communities.
Yeah.
And if they knocked over the bucket with some bad stuff in it, they will immediately tell you the bucket was there was just a few drops in it.
Yeah, just
It's
a few
all good.
drops. Right, exactly.
And then as we've been witness to, as we find out the bucket, I saw a social media, a viral video yesterday, and I didn't have the sound up, but this is the coronavirus in my mind's eye. Try and follow me. Everybody has seen this viral video. They're in a backyard. It's a pretty good-sized bucket of some sort of blue or green chemical, and they dump something in it, and then it just explodes like the marshmallow guy from Ghostbusters.
No way. Wow.
And it just fills up this backyard.
Wow.
It's like foam, and it goes
100x.
And it's funny to watch. It's very real. But that's the coronavirus, and the bucket got knocked over. And there's a lot of when you realize the horse is not only out of the barn's on fire. What tends to happen is now the finger pointing. So it's now I'm going to go real nuts. It's the Hitler thing. If you tell a lie,
watch those videos.
Well, I guess it was actually Goebbels that this was his thing. I believe you can check me on that. Google that.
Yeah.
If you tell a lie long enough, it becomes the truth.
Yeah, you get pathological. You believe it.
So our U.S. military that made a quick stop over there for a quick venture, we brought it to them. So now the spin begins.
Yeah, let's capture that in a second. They say that our military brought it to them. Firstly, that was the very first implication of, well, wait a minute, man. You guys brought it to our sandbox. We didn't bring it to yours. Yeah. That's what they said, right? And I was just like, how dare you?
Yeah.
To even say something as dumb as that.
That's
so
the culture.
If you're a part of that culture, you need to think about that. That was a stupid comment, number one. Number two, what the hell is this wet market stuff? They go out there
culture.
and they go out there and there's these exotic animals in flipping cages. I mean, they got everything from like stuff that's prior to being extinct, and then these bats,
dogs, cats, bats.
Anything
reptiles.
With a half a brain and a heartbeat, maybe?
Yeah. The philosophy is
I think they'd eat you, Mark, if you laid on the ground long enough.
Yep. The philosophy is that's as close as you can get to fresh.
Have they ever heard of hot dogs by chance? Not until they come to America, right?
Right.
Is that something, man? They should open up a flipping hot dog place. Burgers and hot dogs make better sense. And it's how you cook it, too.
And it sounds
you don't put bat on a stick.
It sounds like a culture bash again, but when you're so enclosed for hundreds of years and generations, your grandfather's grandfather taught you this is how we live and how we, in our community, our town, our county, our state, our regions, or province, whatever it may be, this is how our culture is and raised. So you don't know any different, especially if the incoming, i.e. media and what have you, is controlled. You don't know what a 57 Chevy looks like with blue jeans rolled up. You don't know.
I can just see myself coming home to the wife, my daughter, and my grandson saying, "Hey, everybody, do you want bat on a stick?
Yeah, I got extra.
Anybody? Wait, put up your hand.
Yeah. Better hurry before it goes bad.
Bad?
Before it goes bad.
So you think about that stuff, right? And you're right about cultures. So, I guess, you got to eat. We're supposed to eat plants anyways. Like, I really pay attention to that. But I did one of those Beyond Beef burgers. That was good, by the way.
I went to a restaurant about 2 weeks ago in downtown Santa Ana.
Nice.
To a, I guess there's 8 million versions of being vegan or vegetarian. I don't know. Anyway, so I got introduced to one of those. And the young guy helping me, he said, "Well, what are you after?" And I said, "Well, let me go USA on you, in and out." And he goes, and they had the name of one, and he goes, "That's our version of it." So I got that. It was not even close. And what I did notice as I focused on the actual,
you said it wasn't that close.
Not even.
If you rate it from 1 to 10, what was it? Before and after the cardboard taste.
I'll get to that. So I'd give it, regarding comparing it to I'd give it maybe a 3 or 4.
No.
It wasn't bad. I'm just saying the comparison. But what I did focus on is
not fair to compare it to an In-N-Out, man. That's like instant death.
I was trying to kind of pick apart the ingredients and I went after the patty directly a couple times because it's the first time I've actually had one of those.
Oh, wow.
And it had no taste.
Zero.
It had 0.
Oh, my goodness.
It's not just me?
Okay. Now, I haven't had that burger, so I can't tell you for sure. We may have to do a taste test. You're going to have to drive me out there, grab a couple of Coronas, and have one of those burgers. But check this out. You can go to one of these guys anywhere. Burger King. Right. You've heard of them, right?
Right.
Big franchise, one down the street. Sean, who normally hangs out with us, he kind of went home early to hang out with the wife. But he told me about the Impossible Meat Burger.
Right.
I'm like, impossible? What's that all about? So him and I, right? Exactly. So him and I went to Burger King, and we actually bought 2 burgers. One was the original Whopper.
Sure.
So we cut it in 4s, and then we took an Impossible Meat or whatever beef burger, cut that in 4s, and we told him, don't tell us which one it is, just mix it up, right? But I knew because I knew which bag it was in. But we brought those burgers back here. Rob was sitting there, Sean sitting there, Curtis.
I feel like I'm back in high school,
right?
Professor Chris.
We're doing a professional taste test. So I gave Sean distributed the Impossible Burger to Curtis, or it was the regular burger, and he couldn't tell the difference, dude. When I bit into the Impossible Meat Burger, it was so good.
Interesting.
It's the best thing, and I'm not kidding you. It actually tastes better than the Whopper. Sorry, Burger King. It was badass. Sorry. It was so good. I looked at Sean, I go, let's go get another one.
So
we went back and got 2 more. I'm
right
like,
on.
Nice.
So here, let me blow your buzz.
Okay.
And it's predicated on absolutely nothing factual on my
did you
part.
have a Burger King burger yet? Okay.
No, but hold on.
All right.
So
all right.
I love podcasts, and
I
I enjoy hanging out with you and doing this.
Thank you for hanging, man.
One of my, I listen to half a dozen religiously, and one of them's Joe Rogan.
Oh,
very successful.
Yeah, he's an animal, man.
He's an animal. Rogan is a health fanatic.
He gets to cuss, though.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He's a hunter in that whole bit. But what he had said is, regarding the Burger King, that beef is all oil-based products and is wildly unhealthy for you.
Wait a second here.
It's all oil-based if you look at
it said it was from plants and all this other stuff.
He says it's oil-based. If you dig down, look at the fine print.
He actually talked about it?
He talked about it.
Oh, shoot,
and you rub it with lemon juice, the ingredients, and you see what's going on. I'm just relaying. I don't know.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
Really?
But he's a health dude. He says that is not good for you. It's oil-based. Everything in it is oil-based.
So what I've been tasting is that tasty oil?
Maybe. And it's
clogging
like,
my arteries worse than a burger at the same time?
So,
wow.
I don't know, 6-7 years ago when cigarettes started declining, and then came the doctors used to say Camels are good for you, right? Yeah, Marlboro.
Yeah, Marlboro, right.
But then the vape cigarettes or what have you.
Poor guys.
Yeah, that was like, this is our exit strategy. We can still look cool, feel cool. My personal physician says those are even worse.
They coat the lungs with some type of stuff.
Yeah, he says those are even worse than regular cigarettes.
Jeez.
And we're finding that out now.
Yay.
Now, in spirit of having fun.
And that's been 5 years in the making, right?
When it comes to, sweetening something, you're better off after 1 billion years circling back and just getting a spoon of sugar.
Might as well, right?
Versus all the chemicals. You read the ingredients in a Diet Coke, you can't pronounce the words.
Yeah.
It's all chemicals to try and taste like. So, with that being said, potentially,
I feel like just totally just laid out there, man.
Well, you're pretty good at research, so you could do 2 things: YouTube Rogan, or I'll pull the clip and send it to you.
All right, cool.
And again, I don't know this to be true. Just conversing.
Did he have like a scientist on there that kind of tore the burger apart? Probably.
Well, that guy wasn't with him live. He was just talking to other guests, but he had done the homework, and he was just sharing.
Jeez, man, and I had so much positive things to say about that. I was excited.
Now you want bat on a stick. See what I did there? I'm going to circle back to Corona and bat on a stick.
I'll take a bat on a stick. Raise your hands, please.
There you go.
Oh, my goodness. So the bad thing about the coronavirus, of course, is that the numbers are still growing. Yeah. That's the scary part. Right now, this is a worldwide thing. So if you go to Google and you kind of just coronavirus statistics.
There's the scorecard.
Worldwide, United States has got the most now. 273,000 confirmed, 12,000 recovered. That's a plus, right? So it was a hit and miss. 7,000, unfortunately, didn't make it. Italy, who I thought was going to be completely wiped out, there's 119,000. You got 19,000 recovered and 14,000 deaths, though. It's like double. And then you look at Spain, 117. You got 11,000 deaths. Germany, 91, 1,200 deaths. I don't see China anywhere. What's up with that?
Well, so there's a couple
Is
things.
that a false oxymoron that I'm seeing?
There's a couple things going on here. In my humble opinion, I don't know whose scorecard this is.
It came from Google. It's got to be right.
Oh,
no?
well, Google's a search engine. So, here I'm looking. I got Yahoo News.
Yeah.
I got Spectator USA.
Yeah.
I got Bring Me the News. Everybody has theirs. I saw a stat today on my social media that, let's talk more positive. And without opening my phone, it's something like 98.3% recovery rate. Everybody calm down. Now, I don't know if that's right or wrong, but sure felt better.
Well, the sad part about all our 50 states here, right? California is now in the lead. You see that where it says 9,937? No, that's not right. Yeah, this thing's all messed up. Yeah. Google, what are you doing to me, man? You're messing me up here.
So in spirit of being humorous and talking about Cali, which I'm born and raised, I'm a California kid.
Yep, me too.
And the fact this is your podcast and we get to go sideways, we could probably stand to thin the herd in California. So, oh well. Yes, I said it.
Yeah, it is.
Chris just gave me a look.
It is what it is. I hate to see the deaths keep going up. But if you think about it, and this is horrible, how many cancer victims die a day?
That
how many
number
people,
is so much bigger.
Am I right?
And standard traditional, off-the-shelf flu is so much bigger.
If we could solve the problem with cancer, you know how many people we'd save? Yeah. As an ex-cop, I used to look at some statistics. I had a friend that worked down at the coroner's office, my favorite place, right?
Sure.
Used to hang out with the dead guys. But anyways, he would tell me, Mike, his last name was Jimenez. He was like the supervisor, whatever went on down there. Just per day in Los Angeles County, I'm talking about from L.A. to Palm Springs. It's really not L.A. County, but they pick up out there.
Yep.
There are 60-plus homicides a day.
Sure.
And those are murders.
Yeah.
Somebody intended to take somebody's life.
Sure.
So I'm thinking, okay, we got 60 homicides a day. And if you sat there and you analyzed everything that's going on, if you knew the real statistics, it would literally scare you to death.
So,
am I right?
Yeah, so we can assign the phrase, and we all grew up with this, if you're over, 15, 20, the boogeyman.
Yeah.
And we can assign any situation that we can tag it with that, anything.
Yep.
And right now, with our illustrious media, whether you think to the right of the aisle or left, it doesn't matter to me. But this,
I'm an independent, by the way.
So middle of the road guy.
Yeah.
So this is I'm not taking away from the severity at all, but this is an opportunity for boogeyman. And to really clearly illustrate that, forget the topic for a second. Do you think for a moment the media, doesn't matter whether it's Fox, which is way right, CNN, which is way left, do you think these guys are going to give up an opportunity for clickbait and advertising? And,
no, it's all based on money.
This is all going 24 hours now. Remember when you got the old Indian test pattern and you went to sleep and then the world stopped?
Exactly.
You can't now, so you have to fill that, and how do you do it? With a lot of pomp and circumstance.
I remember when Jerry Dunphy had black hair.
Oh, my.
And then he turned white, and then the Indian symbol you're talking about came up, and it was all, okay, everybody, time to go to bed. It was just like...
And then here's the quiz. We're going to date Chris. When you woke up at whatever time in the morning, what was on?
Well, I watched, let me see. What was on? Shoot. Again, I don't...
The American flag.
Exactly.
That was the
start
of the
it.
day.
Why are we not seeing that anymore? Yeah. Well, they stripped, the flag out of the schools. Yeah. You can't say anything of intermediating a prayer.
You can't be on this podcast.
You can't. Yeah,
you can't be on this podcast. Bat on a stick.
Bat on a stick, baby. So, unfortunately, the numbers are still rising.
I didn't mean to step on you.
No.
The scorecard is not going to be in concrete for well over a year. And we're going to look back.
Yeah.
And we're going to, like you just did, okay, here's what happened in Chicago today, or Palm Desert today, Meth World yesterday, and we're going to look back.
Coronavirus world.
Coronavirus world.
Right,
we're
right,
going to
right.
look back, and those numbers
That's
will
history.
be...
History is being made as we speak.
But you can't put it in concrete because it's happening, live,
We're in the
real
middle
time.
of the live show.
Yeah,
right.
so to sit here and look at the scorecard, Google numbers that we're having fun, right now,
Yeah.
you can't. I run with a handful of people that most don't think like I do, and that's not positive or negative. Some are a little bit more green or hippie-ish, if you will, or more salt of the earth.
Yep.
And then some are business, and I'll fall somewhere in the middle.
Push.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But I catch grief from a good amount of people around me when we touch on the subject, and I don't let it linger too long. I don't get all wound up about it for two reasons. One,
right.
When you become an adult and finally take control of your own life, you don't sweat things that you can't control.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you don't let them get the real estate in your mind and get all roused up about it.
I like that.
My green, hippie, salt of the earth crew, guys and girls, I'll get a text in the middle of the day. See, I told you, I get accused with visuals, with eyes, and sometimes directly,
and an emoji every once in a while.
That I don't care enough, so I must be the evil economic machine guy, and I just have to remind those around me. And
Did you start the virus, Mark?
I love Corona beer.
Right, me too,
so
man.
Cliche.
Yeah, I was out I had my new taco grill, and this thing was. I heard it was pandemic. First thing I did was grab a Corona, and I says, well, here's to you.
Let's find out.
Click, and went down the hatch. So it's going to get better, and, worse before it gets better, unfortunately.
I think, and I didn't write this, but I just agree with it. I think the next 2 to 3 weeks, it's going to peak, and it's the darkest, before the dawn sort of thing. It's going to get really ugly within the next month, and then we'll start to turn the corner. And we should put it on our calendar now, a year from this illustrious podcast.
Right,
we can circle back, open up the concrete tablets, and look at the
time capsule, if you will.
The
time capsule, yes. The Corona time capsule.
To be clear, whoever's listening to my voice, I do care. I just don't get wound up about something I can't control.
Yeah.
And I tell the folks that I run with, I have all the faith in the world and the decision makers and the leaders. Forget politics. I just do. And I feel they're doing a good job on trying to corral this. And I got other things to deal with.
I just hope we don't hear anything like what happened to Kennedy way back when. A surprise.
Kennedy died of coronavirus.
Surprise, or something like that, Oh, we forgot to tell you guys this. After everybody's gone, and then they can release it in, I think, the third book or something like that. It's like crazy, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, they said it could be 16 more months before this whole thing, and this was a KFI, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Another opinion
out there, but we're not going to know until the fat lady sings.
Like I said, a year, we'll look back. If we're lucky a year, maybe it is a little more. So I'm beating a dead horse.
I've always wanted to live outside anyways, I have a tent.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, man, forget about this news. I mean, briefly go into it.
Sure.
Look at both sides of the story for a minute, and then just lock it out.
Yeah.
And the TV is the same way. Yeah. When I go to bed, I go, good night, Google, and she turns off my lights, my TV, and everything else. But when I wake up, I said, good morning, Google. And she kind of plays me the stories, all CNBC, all this stuff, right? I listen for about 10 minutes, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't go perusing the internet. Yeah. I don't causing any unnecessary havoc until now.
Yeah.
But I don't go digging.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I'm wearing shorts. See, I wear shorts in the rain, sleet, and snow, and I haven't got... Oh, there it is. No, I haven't got the sniffles yet or anything like that. Yeah. I'm a healthy 58-year-old. 58? Damn. But anyways, I'm getting
Builds
up there.
character.
949 Club, baby.
Yep. Can't wait.
So that being said, I mean, it's don't drive yourself into a wall.
That's how I see it.
Don't do it, right?
That's how I see it.
Just, okay, we know it's there. Okay, we know we got to wash our hands.
Do your part.
Fist bumps and maybe air bumps and leg bumps, but, just stay away from a group of people.
Yeah, just do your part.
Right? Just like, that's why I like to take my kites out, Mark. It's me, the wind, and my kite. It's good stuff.
There you go.
All right. So do you think, now, somebody told me about this, and I don't think it's going to happen. Martial law.
So let's be real brief on this, my humble opinion.
Yeah.
No. So what else now? Because that's just hype.
We're going to the next subject, folks.
Yeah, that's just hype.
You hear about it, somebody says, well, I just have a friend right now at Solaria. Her name's Sturi. She's a really great lady. She's one of their marketing gurus up there. She's, fantastic times 1,000. So hopefully she's hearing this. They actually have closed down, complete lockdown in San Francisco. You don't have any solar guys installing anything in San Francisco. It's complete lockdown.
That's interesting philosophy versus down here. Well,
L.A., let's take L.A., for example.
Is it closed down because it's non-essential? Because it's California? Essential or non-essential?
No, I think it's per section in California. We got a governor, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of runs the whole thing.
Yeah.
But individual cities can step up to the plate and just say,
gotcha.
Okay, guys, we're making it's a misdemeanor if you're actually caught outside, and we're going to corral everybody up, right? So San Francisco territory is completely locked down. They said it's like a ghost town.
Anything to kill business.
Right? And then Los Angeles, you got more people complaining down there. You have these renters and you have these homeowners and all this other stuff that's going on. But essential businesses like drive-through restaurants, and I think you can pull up to a curb and get what they call curbside assistance. Yep. I just recently ordered some more pictures for our commercial room, and I had curbside assistance.
There you go.
It's like getting your gas in Oregon. You can't get out of a car. You know that, right?
I don't know that.
I learned this just a few years ago, and, I get out and I go to the teller and do my thing, right? This guy, when I open my door, he slams it the other way. I'm like, what? I'm ready to box this guy, right?
Sure.
I roll down my window, go, what are you doing? He goes, you're from California, right?
Yeah, a dead giveaway.
I look at it and I go, what? So they have a law that you cannot get out of your car to pump your own gas.
What's the philosophy behind that?
I don't know, maybe nuclear war or something, but I had to slide him out $40 in cash, or you can give him your credit card. He'll use it a few times prior to you getting it back. But he went up there, and I told him how much I want. The guy pumped my gas, and he wiped the windshields. I was just like, sweet, I got to come back here more often.
Back to the future.
Can't even get my kids to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Did he have a chocolate malt shop?
He did. It was right to the side, but I was so blown away,
Sure.
So it was just weird for me to see that, and that's still going on today. Oh, besides their tags only being $35 a vehicle.
Yeah, that's a whole other.
It sucks,
that's a whole
right?
other podcast.
Yeah, Lord. So, anyways, no martial law, but they are locking down certain cities.
Gotcha.
You're putting screws in. San Bernardino, are they still solvent? That's probably why we're not locked down yet, right?
Yeah, nobody cares.
Being in San Bernardino County, they haven't said anything.
It's
just
that's
like
meth world.
Meth world?
Yeah.
Okay. Not that we're in that area. I'm in a nice area, right?
Yeah, doing
it's
fine.
all right. But got the monkey in the room. It's all good. But they're not locking down San Bernardino County or Riverside. Not that I want anybody to hear this and call up their local governor and say, you got to lock everybody up now. They can't do that. I would say they can't.
No, they're letting people out because we're overloaded.
I mean, the prison system,
some
right?
bad people are being let out because it's
wonderful.
overloaded.
Yay.
I don't see getting paddy wagoned away for standing 5 feet versus
flying my
feet
kite.
away.
You think they'll lock me up?
I don't think so, man.
I've
been at Huntington a lot lately.
Okay. I actually had a Fontana police officer pull up, and I asked him some questions. I go, what are you guys doing? He goes, unless you're getting murdered or something else is going on, we're just walking, monitoring everything, right?
Sure.
And then he stood there and watched me fly my kite for a half hour.
There you go.
He was just like, hey, where do I get one of those? Yeah. So anyways, no martial law.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's
getting exciting.
Is that maybe an act of war, martial law? Maybe?
Is it 1776 all over again? Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
I got to tell you,
Right?
know, as we travel down that road, I know a ton of people that are blue collar and armed up in that whole thing. And
well, let me tell you,
it's the quiet bunch until you poke that hornet's nest, and so that's not going to happen.
I don't want to walk anywhere near somebody that's a prepper.
Yeah.
The zombie apocalypse guy.
Yeah.
He's got you can tell these when you're driving through different neighborhoods.
Yeah.
He's the one with the 50 caliber turret on his roof ready to go, right?
Yep.
So all these guys that have been, and Rob says this a lot, it cracks me up, man. He goes, go ahead. You guys get all the toilet paper you want. Put vegetable gardens in your backyard because when it's time, I'm coming for you first.
Yeah. Go stock up.
Stock up, baby.
Go shopping, Rob.
Funny as hell, man. Anyways, so check this out. A friend of mine that works at, Solar Company X, and it starts with an H, and it ends in power. They're in like Menifee. You can figure it out, right? Just Google it. You'll figure it out. They furloughed 90% of their entire staff.
Furlough is a fancy word for what?
Is
Just
that
for the audience.
Fired or something like that? Is that a fancy word for fired?
I think it's a fancy word.
I don't know what bean counter they got that stuff from, but I was just like, you got to be kidding me.
I'm going to look up furlough.
One of my best friends out there, his name's starts with an S. I won't tell you his name because I don't want to exploit anybody or anything. But I was just burned out, man. And he's a friend of mine on LinkedIn. And when he said that, I was just like, you got to be kidding me.
Furlough.
Okay.
Leave of absence.
Oh, leave of absence.
I'm looking at
Is that like an administrative leave of absence?
Especially that's granted to a member of the armed services, a civil servant home on furlough.
It has nothing to do with the person.
No.
That's a military definition right there. So I think the non-military version is, hey man, we just fired you, so let me know how that's working out for you.
Yeah, I thought the phrase was layoff, but if
I never heard of furlough until recently. I mean, layoff would have probably been easier, right? It's just crazy.
So here we go for fun.
Yeah.
A little obvious, but implementing furloughs allows employers to avoid laying off employees while also saving money.
Oh,
so that's why the word is.
That's the magic right there.
You can keep your all-star employees while also assuring them their future positions are safe. If you choose to partially pay or not pay employees during a furlough, you will reduce costs. So that's a management move.
Again, a bean counter put that together one way. So they're not paying them, or, what do they tell them to go get unemployment or something like that?
I don't.
They're going from $450 a week to $600.
This is a gray area. Yeah, here comes my humor again because we got a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah,
so I can't help but interject here. So how cool would it be if you could get involved in a business that is recession-proof and you're in charge?
Well, which one is that? Besides a crack dealer?
We'll get to that later.
I heard the CBD industry is pretty good still.
It's solid.
I can run, bags of CBD oil all over Los Angeles.
Yeah, I see that happening with a lot of gals that I know. That's their side hustle.
Is that really what it really?
Yeah.
Nice. I should get into that.
Yeah.
I'm not pretty enough, but, who cares? I carry a gun. No, I don't. No, yeah, I do. No.
Regardless of your look, your shape, your health, and borrowing from some of my car sales guys that I run with. So they always say there's an ass for every seat.
Ass for every seat. I love it.
So what that means is, with respect to what you just said, I promise you, Chris, so you'll feel better, that there's plenty of people out there that are interested in you.
Yeah, okay.
Male and female.
Yeah, I prefer the opposite sex. But anyways, it's all good, right?
Yeah.
So furlough, unemployment, job loss is big, man.
It's a creative way. It looks like just, taking a peek here.
I hope that, company X, it starts with an H. And there's another company, solar company, last name of Lux. Is that kind of a pyramid approach? But anyways, buddy of mine worked there and he's gone too. So he's doing his thing, I guess. I don't know. But I guess it's not a bad thing to do, especially when no home improvement's going on. I mean, we're suffering here. Yeah. You know, we're finishing up a bunch of jobs. We got a bunch of jobs in the hopper. We're very creative as a company.
Sure.
But, you know, what's going to determine who survives and doesn't survive is the creativeness of moving the cheese.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying about that?
Great little book. Yeah.
Have you read that? That your cheese has moved, right?
Yeah. Who moved my cheese?
Who moved my cheese? Exactly. So if you're in the sales business, you got to look at who moved my cheese. And it's just like you and I do all the time. We talk about this all the time. It's reinvention.
Yep.
How do you reinvent yourself?
Yeah, if you're not growing, you're dying.
If you're not growing, I like that.
Yeah. If you're not growing, you're dying.
I'm going to put that as a sticker on my wall, Mark.
It's all you, baby.
Nice. But anyways, you know, things are changing, so we have to adapt, and we have to be creative. And that's okay if you have to be a part-time Amazon, you know, block deliverer on the weekends, so be it. Do it. Get out there.
Put
it in your car and go.
You know, so now we're talking about career choices and what have you.
I prefer not to, though.
A lot of people have their eggs in one basket. In the past several years, I've seen, as I move around the globe and talk to people and experience different things, and I get involved in different businesses, two things. One, especially living in Southern California, if you don't have having the steady 9 to 5 is great. Don't get me wrong, but if you do not have some sort of side hustle going on as well, it makes things a bit difficult. We're already a 2-income household minimum.
It's sad, right?
Yeah, but if you don't have a side hustle going on, you're making a huge mistake. And then part two, when we come out of this epidemic, this coronavirus thing and what have you, with all the downtime we're all forced into, if an individual hasn't picked up a side hustle, learned a new skill, whether it's friggin' oil painting, trading stocks, you know, whatever it may be.
Get down and dirty.
You're sitting on your ass watching, you know, TV on this downtime, waiting on your $1,200. I have nothing positive to say about you.
Yeah.
So we're forced into downtime. This is an opportunity for the winners to step up and extend themselves out. Pick up a side hustle. Sharpen your skills. Do something with the downtime so when we come outside this darkness, that you're stronger than you were before you go in. Now, I'm not picking on anybody, but let's talk about the mutual friend that starts with S, okay?
Okay.
So let's talk about him.
Yeah.
And I'm not picking on him.
Sure.
I hope S, now that he's furloughed, he's standing back and going, okay, let's see. I had all my eggs in one basket for the umpteenth time. And for the umpteenth time, I got my legs cut out from under me, and I got to reinvent myself. Well, how about on this downtime, folks, let's start inventing another extension of yourself. If you're not growing, you're dying. Let's start getting some personal tentacles here and doing some things different and adding to your game so you have more poles in the tent. You know, picture the circus tent. If you got one pole and that pole breaks or gets blown over by the wind or by the furlough wind, what happens?
Yeah. You've been deep sea fishing, right, Mark?
I have.
And what do they normally do? They put out 10, 15 poles.
Dozens, yeah,
right?
Dozens.
And as they dredge the water, they're looking for a couple of big ones.
Yeah, hits.
Right? So if you're not going to just put one out there. So I tell this to everybody, and hopefully everybody is listening, right? Great example, Mark, and you're right.
Sure.
Hit the nail on the head, as always. So check this out. Imagine this. Draw a circle right now on a piece of paper. And then I want you to take that piece of paper with that circle on it, and I want you to draw a line right down the center. So you got two pieces. Then I want you to do it again the opposite way.
Quarter it.
Horizontal now. So now you got 4 pieces. Do that again in each one of those pieces. Now you have what they call a pi symbol. Now you know, and you and I have talked this about 50 times, my primary business is quality home improvement.
Yep.
That's us, right? We've earned that business because we work hard at it.
Yep.
And we constantly improve it, right? But then I have another piece. Oh, by the way, before all this starts, you need to go down to your local, county and get yourself a DBA. Firstly, call yourself, for me, it'd be Christopher Moss Marketing LLC, right? Get yourself a DBA, incorporate yourself, because you don't just want to be a DBA. Now you need protection, and this is why you need protection. So you go out there, and now I'm a corporation, right? Mine's QHI Inc., right? But then I have branches under QHI Inc. One of my other businesses, which is another corporation, IBS Corp, it's kind of vague and ambiguous, so I can do anything with it. And I have another one called RE Enterprises. So what happens is I can take those businesses as a corporation, and I can make money from anywhere. Yeah. They would just simply take care of me, right? And at the end of the year, when I've made $10 million for the year, I'm a cash corporation. I'm not accrual. So I want to drive that thing down as close to zero as I can. And you know what? In the beginning, I wasn't smart like that, like these other successful corporations were. And I couldn't figure out why my taxes were higher. I couldn't figure out. Hang on, Mark. Here, give me a test. No, I'm just kidding.
Check.
No, it's the coffee. I swear to you, man. It's not me. Anyway, see, it's a Batman cup.
Come on, Pacino.
Sorry, everybody. I just didn't get infected. It is what it is. But anyways, so I go ahead and do this, right? And I got a corporation. You want to drive. I wasn't as smart as all these other guys until I got my butt kicked. And how did I get my butt kicked? Financially. It just sucks, man. I remember writing a check to the Internal Revenue Service.
So 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I remember.
You remember?
I remember the amount. I'm not saying it, but you...
I'm going to say it.
Okay.
It was over $40,000. I'm just like...
I remember the conversation.
I'm like... And, I look at my accountant and I look at my tax guy. I'm like, hey, nobody told me about all this stuff. And you're not supposed... I had a big number. At the end of the year, I got these 2 big checks, and they accounted for them as being money. But they didn't know that I had to pay other vendors, and they didn't care. So I get this thing from my tax guy, and he goes, you owe the federal government 40-some thousand. State was not too bad. It was like 7 or 9. But still, that sucks, right?
I remember.
So I'm sitting there, and I got this. I'm looking at this. Oh, nice, cool. I kind of survived, man. This is great.
Black ink.
Yay! And all of a sudden, I get the news, and I look straight down to the floor, and I'm just like, damn, that didn't last long.
So quick pause. I'm going to do this twice now because of what we talk about all the time here.
All right.
So this is the second time. I'm going to interject with what we'll talk about later. If you don't know, and 8 out of 10, 95% middle America does not know where to hide their money in the system.
So true.
They're going to get Chris Mossed.
Yes. Hey, we can probably coin that as a phrase.
Knock yourself out, bumper stickers.
I'm okay. Hey, there you go. Bumper stickers, we're go. Yeah. But you know what I should have done is I should have, when I was sitting there talking to you and, was it Lori?
Laura.
I should have wrote her a check. And that would have safeguarded me because that was considered a deduction. And it was not taxable. So if you're out there and you're doing this corporation thing, just remember, if it's a cash corporation, you got to learn how to drive it to zero, or you can figure out different methods that Mark's trying to tell you.
We'll get to it.
Hint, hint, of what to do with that money.
Different avenues that we don't know about.
It's the cement truck methodology, and I love it, and I can't say it enough, man. So let's go back to where we were, right?
Coronavirus.
All right.
Bat on a stick.
Bat on a stick, unemployment. So now we're at the number 4, right? We're going to probably skip that and go to 6.
We're going to push that to
okay, because that kind of leads into what you're going with, right?
It'll tie everything together.
All right. So do you think that all these people, and this kind of ties into it as well, do you think that the United States of America, the foreclosure rate is going to go up? How can we as a society help people out that much? That's a lot of money, dude.
Well, they're doing it right now, and I say they, and I'm talking about our leadership, regardless what side of the aisle. I'm very pleased with being proactive. I saw the arena that I run in has partially to do with insurances. life, health, and that sort of thing.
Sure.
I literally, on the way over to see Chris and do this podcast, got an email from, the insurance god in California.
Nice.
And the letter, in short, says this. They've told, whether it's life, health, medical, they've told the providers, XYZ provider carries your life insurance policy.
Okay, yeah.
They've told them, didn't ask them, they told him, you're going to back off for 90 days and not bother the client.
Wait a second.
I got it right here.
So the client doesn't have to make those payments?
Correct.
Well, they have to make them up.
Well, they'll just pause everything.
Okay.
And and this is where everything's
so
going to go.
Time has stopped.
Time has stopped, and they'll just tack it on the end. So let's say you have a 72-month deal. Now you have a 75-month deal with a 3-month pause.
That's cool.
That's what we're doing, and that's what the leadership is doing. And they alluded in there, Laura and I were speaking on my way to you today.
Yeah.
And I asked her if she had read that. And she says, yeah, it's a bit vague. And I had pointed out how this guy is headed for the auto insurance people as well. It didn't look like it was in stone yet. But it's going to pause everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, and so there's no way our leadership is going to let people start losing their homes and what have you. I don't think it's in stone yet. I think we're just in the asking stage. But landlords, like, you lease this building here for your business.
Yeah, I'd love to buy it from the guy.
Well, they're going to be told, I believe, check my soul later, they're going to be told to not bother you for X amount of time.
Because whoever they make their payment to is going to be told.
Everybody's going to be told just time
so
out.
It's going uphill.
Yeah, it's going uphill. Good.
Nice.
Good. So I'm confident that's going to happen, and nobody's losing
I just
their
made
house.
a payment too. Damn it.
Well, it hasn't come down yet. So I know some people that lease buildings or lease condos or lease apartments, what have you. And I was with a buddy of mine last week, and he grabbed his phone and he kind of giggled, like to himself. I'm like, well, you're not going to share with the class? He goes, I just got felt out by my landlord. She wants to know when the first comes, is she going to get looked after? And in his industry,
you're kidding me.
Yeah. So she was feeling him out was the phrase that he used, and he sent her back a positive note. The industry he's in is considered necessary. And it's the grocery world, so he's necessary.
Sure.
His world's not getting rocked. But she did send him a little Valentine, feeling him out.
And I bet you did that to everybody.
Of course she did.
I wonder how many nays she got back.
Yeah, who knows? But I think our leadership is being very proactive. None of this is our fault. And so they're going to, like you say, freeze time, pause time. And everybody's going to get their outgoing money furloughed until, maybe up
Do you think Google Play Music is going to not bill me for a month? Probably not.
I don't know.
Come on, Google, do me a favor.
I don't want to get too far into
Such
the
a good
weeds
service,
and
man.
predict.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to spend a lot of time on that topic because I just...
Yeah. It's kind of a mute.
I refuse to believe that's going to be allowed to happen. We're already dealing with unemployment. A lot of people close to me
that just sucks.
Are having to stay home. Yeah. Everything from, hey, I need you to go on unemployment for literally one pay period to, we'll just check in with you. And
seriously.
Everybody understands. Yeah.
Well, we've covered that topic, and, time will tell, as they say, right?
Yep.
Time is going to tell. So if all this goes crazy, and let's just say we're sitting there, and, all these guys holding back, and the virus gets worse, and more people die, more fear, as you know, goes out into the industry. Now I'm sitting in my house, and I got, the military going down my street in a tank. It is what it is. But they do a mandatory lockdown. Literally, I just hope and pray that our government is, kind enough. I'm just going to say it like that.
Sure.
Because they control the banking system, which we know, right?
Yeah.
And they can print money, I guess.
Literally.
I just hope and pray that there's not a caveat, especially with these small businesses. A guy goes out there and he owns an ice cream shop. Well, nobody's coming to visit him anymore.
Literally, it's shut
down. He's eating his own ice cream now because, he's got to do something to survive. But this poor guy is on a thread.
So
I just hope and pray that he's recovers.
So you may not be in the loop. In fact, that the fact that you're what we'll consider a small business.
I don't watch TV that much.
Okay, so let me help you here.
Okay.
So you can, and I have it in the email. I've got the app, the application, not an app. I apologize. Went old school there. And I can send it to you, literally.
Perfect.
Because I got it today.
Yeah.
I work with a large company, and they're in the loop on this sort of stuff. Long story short, a small business, that's you, can apply for an SBA loan. I'm sorry, SBA grant.
A grant?
See, your face just changed. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So some of these people I know that have been told to stay home.
Do I have to give my spleen?
I'm not sure what the rules are, but
I got 2 kidneys. I
got
give
to
one.
feel they're pretty lax.
Okay.
Because it's a grant.
Is this a forgiveness loan?
Yes.
What the heck?
Yeah, so I've got that here as well.
Well, I went to chase.com and I watched the webinar yesterday. It says /cares. Mm-hmm. I'm a Chase customer,
yep.
Right? So I heard about this PPP. Mm-hmm. It's called Paycheck Protection Program.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So here's what they're doing. Your lease on your building, your payroll that you make to yourself if you're a single guy like me, mm-hmm. and anything else that you would normally have to pay, it's whatever that is times 2.5, mm-hmm. what you can get. Is that the same thing you're talking about?
That's a different version. I was talking to
I like the grant one.
Yeah. It'll be forgiven.
So have they started this yet?
The apps, I'm thinking one person in particular that on behalf of their office filed it last Thursday, the loan apps. There was some personal stuff regarding the owner of the business that he
here's the spleen.
No. He just had to okay and fill out because he had answers.
Okay.
Like his net worth and things like that.
Oh, gotcha.
But that stuff got filed, and a workmate of mine, we were talking last night, and she runs a small business. She's a 1099 for the people that she serves.
Does she qualify?
She is, and I'm teasing her, and we'll find out. I said, hey, I'm not being lazy, but let me know. She applied for a $10K forgiveness loan SBA 2 days ago.
$10,000.
Yeah, flat $10,000, and it's going to be forgiven.
You're kidding me.
Because you're a small business. Yeah.
So is that the max?
I'm only giving you what I've heard so far. None of it's in concrete,
You
guys.
mean they
Just
won't
for the
give me
record.
$1 million?
I haven't dove in.
Oh, darn. Well, let me have that app, man.
I've got them. I got all that in my phone.
My dog, cat, and alligator will also apply.
Yeah.
Get them all done.
I'm sure as long as you can illustrate, and you can, that you're a small business.
Yeah. So if I show them a picture of my podcast room, think that'll work? Probably. You never know.
I don't know what the rules are, but I got a feeling they're a little bit lax because it's grant. This is
okay. Yeah. I like the word grant. Mm-hmm. President Grant. It's a 50, right? But if you can get a grant, and then does that mean that they got to stay at home if they get that grant? They put a line in the sand and say, okay, now you got to get locked down.
Well, they are locked down, so they're creating that bridge right now. Nobody knows when the economy is going to open back up. It's certainly not going to be Easter. And again, here we go.
Yeah, they said April 12th. Yeah. I'm like, no way.
Yeah, it depends who you ask, but we don't have the answer, so let's not spend a lot of time on that again.
Right.
But they're building a bridge again. My confidence,
I like that. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
My confidence in the decision makers and the leadership for the country, I feel they're very, very proactive. So no foreclosures. People aren't getting kicked out of their apartment and what have you.
Well, once you give me that app, and I'll fill it out, and maybe that'll be on the next podcast. The results.
I have it all, and I'm holding up my phone for Chris. I
love it, dude.
3 of them in here. I could just forward you.
There's 3 separate applications?
There's 3 different conversations.
Oh, okay.
So I'll let you dive in.
No, yeah.
They're right here.
No, perfect. Thank you, man. Mm-hmm. Appreciate that. So that's a good thing, right? So SBA.gov. Look into it if you're a small business. I'm sure they've got coverage there. And
part of that $2 trillion has been, part of that pie is for things
allocated. Okay. Wow, that's badass.
So
cool stuff.
Our leadership, I believe, is being very proactive. We're not allowed to generate money, so they're going to make sure you get a flow of money. So your pizza shop, ice cream shop, and what have you.
I dig it.
Yes, it's going to be lumpity bumpity for sure. And I bet we're going to have casualties.
Yeah. And you know what? The funny thing about it is it's the small American business
that's the backbone.
That keeps the backbone together and makes sure the blood flow happens in America.
Yep.
guys like me like to write checks for 40 grand.
So I hear.
Oh, boy, that's another story. Yeah, you don't want to do that ever again. But anyways, incorporate and do the right thing. And you know what? Because I did what I did, I got health insurance, finally, from the United States government at Covered CA.
There you go.
Guess what my monthly premium is?
$109.
$2.
I was close.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
There were numbers involved.
So I finally learned how to take advantage of the system that I was so very not wanting to take advantage of because I thought it was A, B, C, D, repeat. A, B, C, D, repeat.
So I'm going to do it again.
It was to my advantage.
I'm going to throw Chris on pause because we're going somewhere. This is now my third shot into the dark that's going to come to fruition.
Yeah.
So what Chris just said, all due respect to him, I've known Chris a long time, and whatever he gets his paws in, he's successful at. And he's also a very laid-back guy. He will give you the shirt off of his back not once, twice, but usually 3 times. I've watched Chris carry, all due respect, employees much further than was necessary. And what Chris is alluding to, whether he just caught it or not, because I know him personally and the challenges, the guy that Chris is when he's doing well, he spreads it around and enjoys his life. The guy has kites, and he runs to HB, and he does kites, and he's got a dog that's got coronavirus, and he's got frozen bat on a stick. He's a good dude. Of course, call him as I see him.
Yeah.
But the downside to fun, jovial, big-hearted people like Chris is when things do tighten up, they realize when they start digging for maybe some help, and that's what he's talking about, shit, I could have been doing this for the past 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to say it for a third time.
Yeah.
If you knew what you could do and learned about it today, are you going to be like the S guy and sit on the couch and wait for the next Armageddon and take a hit?
No.
Or are you going to be proactive with your money, your career?
Yep.
And maybe side hustles and different streams of income? Are we all learning a lesson? Chris just basically said he took a lesson.
A huge lesson, folks.
So I know our culture, and I'm constantly disappointed in our people.
They're not listening enough.
Well, no. Here's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at your board of topics that we're going to discuss. We got a cheater board in here,
right?
And I already have the answer to that last line item.
I know you do.
Yeah, or at least my humble opinion. And I'm never wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's going to happen with Mark's 8 out of 10 rule? 8 out of 10 people that are feeling pain, are going through some struggle. As soon as the sun comes back up, and the freeways are open, and the ice cream shop is open, these mother effers, you know what they're going to do? They're going to go right back to things were on January 7th of this year. They're going to go right back to it. They're not going to have learned a lesson. 8 out of 10 rule. It will apply.
It's funny you say that, man. And I don't know what the concept is or the psychology behind that really is. You talk to a person, and just like when we're doing some of these home improvements, very similar. You tell a guy that's got a bucket in his living room that leak's going to still occur.
It's going to get bigger.
And regardless of what he does, it gets bigger, 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 and pretty soon he's got more damage than he needs, right? So it's very, very typical to what you're talking about.
Yep.
But yours has got a great story, a great ending. And that's the key. And bundled together is super powerful. It's the biggest,
The horsepower is amazing.
Oh my God. It's like, 1,000 horsepower to the floor, baby, right to the tires. Yeah. And it doesn't take much to do it. No. And that's the smart thing that Mark's going to help us out with as well. So that being said, I'm glad we're not going to go BK. Hopefully foreclosures won't come out through the roof.
Not going to let it happen.
Job loss, that is what it is. But if you're furloughed, get unemployment or do what you can and just, focus. And don't feel bad to reach out, right? Do what you got to do. No martial law. So until you see a tank coming down the middle of your street, you're going to be good. And it's going to get worse before it gets better.
I think so.
You just got to, drink more coffee in your Batman cup.
Write it out. Do your part. Be
And I
helpful.
think you're going to be okay, right? So that being said, what you just told me, and I wanted to tell you this, that the last time you came,
Sure.
one of the promises I made myself, that because we're in what we're in right now, once the periscope comes out of the water and it says all clear, once my submarine rises to the top, you and me, I'm going to put a portion of each one of those jobs that come in into that box.
Gotcha.
So
Happy to help.
you're going to help me
get it.
facilitate that.
I get it.
Laura's finally going to, whatever you've been trained is going to come through my brain, and she's going to go, she's going to see the lights and stuff like that, and we're going to do what we got to do to get it done, right?
Yep.
So, and that's just part of it, and then maybe we can kind of get him to do the same because he's got a small family, a growing family,
beautiful family,
right? A good guy.
Yep.
He's like me. He's got the biggest heart on the planet, and we just need to, kick him around a little bit and put him back on path. And that's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Plus, you got a couple more here. You got Rob, you got Sean, you got all these other guys who need to pop into play.
When we sat down last week and we talked a lot about money, I had mentioned, I'll be the sarcastic one for the day. And this just comes from my experience and why I talk about, when the sun rises and we're able to come back out, like Whoville on Christmas morning, everybody's going to come out, we're going to do the kumbaya in the middle,
get in the circle,
in the circle in the square of the city or whatever that's called.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen. The complacency that I've witnessed in our culture regarding downtimes, which could be learned from and prepared for better times if things go sideways. Most people are going to run right back to Whoville, and that's just based on my experience. So anybody that hears this or is clear on what it is I do, and you know me or know of me or somebody like me, I personally challenge you to, like Chris is talking about, stand back, take stock in the situation, and be proactive, and it gets you better prepared for down the road for next time, because as they say, in all good and bad scenarios, there will be a next time.
Yes, history's repeated itself.
Yeah, there will be a next time.
You just need to listen and not think and do it.
It's called habits.
Yeah, create a good habit, right?
You got to change your habits in this thing called life to be better.
Makes sense.
To be better. You can't just wake up and do the same things that you always do every day. And you just take little nibbles. And somebody very close to me, and everybody can appreciate this. Sorry, ladies, happens to be female. And
they got more brains than us anyways, apparently.
They're dramatically sharper.
But
the funny thing is, in my life's experience, all the women in my life, from sisters to moms to whatever relationships, women love to sleep. They want that 10 minutes, the extra 10 minutes. And this particular person, I was talking to him about, I'm always out of time. I said, look, here's what you do. When you set your clock for, what time do you get up? Clock goes off at 6:30. Okay, when you go home, set it for 6:20 this week. Just 6:20, just 10 minutes.
Just 10 minutes.
Not a half hour.
Okay.
10 minutes.
It's not a lot.
No, you won't feel it. And then in 2 to 3 weeks, bite out another 10 minutes. So now you're at 6 o'clock, and you didn't feel it. What you did, don't go to the gym on January 2nd and try and be Schwarzenegger. Don't
hurt yourself and never go back.
You're never going to go back. So habits in this thing called
10 minutes,
life,
right?
You just they're little. You just nudge yourself a little bit. You don't run a marathon when you decide. You don't. It's these little things. And talk about money. Money is a great opportunity for a snowball, and you just put a little snowball at the top of the hill. And just let it roll and leave it alone.
We've all heard about it.
And with what we're going to talk about shortly here, my snowball doesn't get big and then little and little get big and little. All it does is get big.
Yeah, so we're talking about anybody with half a brain and a heartbeat that, you're making an income from somewhere. And I don't care if you're 16 with a work permit, all the way until even if you're 90. and you're still breathing, right? You need to put something somewhere, because one thing is going to happen. You're going to die one way or another.
That's a bet
huge.
you can win. That's a bet you're going to win.
Instant win right there.
We all can predict the future in one aspect, and it's a bit dark, but we get to predict it. We can't predict the market.
I just go to deathclock.com.
Yeah, we can't predict Vegas. We can't predict the racehorse or the World Series.
Right.
We can't.
No.
But one thing that you can predict, and you're going to win.
You're going to go down.
You're going to get called
What
home.
did they say? What's the fancy word for heart attack? It's myocardial infarction or something similar to that. It's a scientific word, and they say that most people go out with a heart attack
on Mondays.
Yeah, on Mondays.
It's literally it's
on
a
Mondays.
Fact.
That's right.
Google that shit. It's a Monday. Most heart attacks happen on Mondays.
On Mondays. How weird, right?
Well, it's not weird. So here, let's start traveling down my road.
Okay.
Now that we're here, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So most heart attacks happen on Mondays, and here's why. We all, especially in summertime, because it's so nice out, and it's light at 8:15 in SoCal for sure, right? It's amazing. You're having your Coronas with no virus, with your virus infected dog. You've got some bat on a stick.
Yeah.
You're with your best friend Chris, and you're hanging out in this Fontana backyard with the cop who just showed up
flying the kite.
With the cop who showed up with the kite, right? All of this is going on, and ultimately at the end of the day, is
it Monday?
You get that twist in your tummy mid-beer, mid-hot dog.
Yeah.
It's Sunday evening, and you realize out of nowhere, I have to clock in tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Then so it blows your buzz. But it is a fact. Most heart attacks occur on Mondays. And why is that? I talked to the group about this now and again, and I did it last time I was here. When you're a little kid, you're 2, 3, 4 years old, fireman, astronaut, whatever you want. But it gets beat out of us by society, and then we get pre-programmed. So me being long-winded as usual, Chris is alluding to pay yourself first.
Yes,
Pay
please.
yourself first.
Got to.
And don't literally put it in a cookie jar. Put it in a cookie jar that facilitates a huge snowball for you and a few other cool things along with it that we can talk about here shortly. But the biggest lesson that we don't get in life, again, I'm going back to our culture. I love my parents. Everybody pretty much loves their parents. I love the high school that I went to. I said pretty much, the exception to every rule. But our parents and our high school, in my culture, and that's pink, plaid, white, purple, brown, it doesn't matter, they did not teach us about money in high school, nor at home.
What a shame, right?
It's a
travesty.
It's disgusting. It's a sin, and it's a travesty. Our parents didn't teach us, and our high school didn't teach us. We're pre-programmed regarding our money to wake up and go to work for somebody else that had the balls, the vision to build something.
Yep.
And they went and hired you and 20 or 30 or 50 or 150 more like you to facilitate their dream, whatever it may be. It could be a construction company, it could be a mattress factory. It doesn't matter. They had the guts and the vision to go ahead and say, I want to be the astronaut or what have you. But Chris and I joke, 95%ers, 95% of us are programmed, graduate high school, and then go get a good job. That's my air quotes tone.
Yeah.
Go get a good job. We had the fun beat out of us. I'm going to sidetrack. I have a very close friend of mine. He's a school teacher, and he has 2 adult daughters that were very athletically prone, made their way through college, full rides, legendary, both girls.
Sweet.
And they're both school teachers now. One got married a little over a year ago, so they're full-blown women, adults. And the younger of the 2 girls, and they're not young, I mean, we're talking, 23. She pulled me aside at a dinner party, this is last year, and she's like a daughter to me. And anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
So she says, Mark, let me run something by you, because I'm very close with her mom and her dad. We're like family. And she said, I need your help. I said, all right, what's going on? She says, me and, just got married, and he's like a son to me. I said, yeah. My dad is all over me. Now, her dad's a 30-plus year school teacher, did everything right, puts money away. He's Brady Bunch.
Yeah, there you
Right?
go.
He's Brady Bunch. And he's after me to go buy a house, go buy a house, go buy a house. When you land the solid teacher job, you got the full-time gig that's yours, your homeroom and all that.
Yeah.
The older sister already had it.
Yeah.
So she's this one's working on it. Buy a house, buy a house, buy a house. And I looked at her and I said, let me guess. You want to know that it's okay not to go down the Brady Bunch road. And she says, I just, I don't feel that's what we want to do right now. We're young.
Yeah, she can make a decision herself.
Well, not only that. And I said, you know what? I'll take the hit here. I said, and I'm going to say it out loud to you in front of everybody here. Your dad's wrong, and I love him. You guys are young. You get to make your own decisions. The world is different. And there are a ton of things for you to do. There's a ton of other directions to put your money, short-term, long-term. The classic, my dad's beating me up to go buy a house, that's because he was born in the 60s.
That's what he was taught.
That's what he was taught.
Exactly.
Play it safe. Play
Culture,
it safe. Play it safe.
Yeah.
And this is what we're talking about. So we all graduate high school, get a pretty wife, get a white picket fence, get a house, get a car, go get the dog, have a baby, all of this, even in my generation, that's what my parents taught me, and that means their parents taught them.
Sure.
So I was encouraging her, and it appears, because it's a year plus later, that I'm not saying she took my advice, but she did. She travels teaching softball.
How cool is that?
She gets paid big dollars to travel and teach classes nationwide.
For softball?
Yeah. Well, she's a legend. I'm just not using her name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's a legend.
She's 23.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. She's
Good
at
for her.
one of the biggest colleges in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
She started all 4 years as a freshman all the way, World Series, the whole bit.
Love it.
Yeah. Anyway, so she travels, and they're having a good time. And her husband, young man, he works for, I'll call it a school. He's a teacher, but that school is specifically tied to teaching kids athletics. So he takes them inside the classroom and teaches them the bookwork. And then he's athletic, and he's got 5 rings, and I'm not talking Super Bowl or anything, but big time for college football.
Nice.
So he's athletic as well.
Okay.
They're like Ken and Barbie athletic. Anyway, so he has a pretty cool gig. He's a school teacher, and that's what he wanted to do. And the other half of the day, he's literally running his kids through drills, boys and girls. And they have the dream situation right now.
So they travel.
She does a lot.
She does. So instead of buying this thing called a house.
Called an anchor.
Right, an anchor, exactly. You formulated something that would be more financially beneficial. And you know what? Again, like I said, man, if you're 16 with a work permit, that's when it really needs to start.
The snowball.
And it doesn't matter. Put that snowball at the top.
Yep.
By the time you're 30, you're going to look back and say, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going to see this accumulation of money, this wealth, if you will, just in case stories like this occur, which has hit us all today.
Which we're going through right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'd have a smile on my face instead of a frown. Is that what you're trying to say, Mark?
Yeah. So let's dive into this. Let's talk. Let's be less. What's the word I'm looking for? Let's pull this from behind the curtain now. That's what we're talking about.
All right.
This is always the topic I get to discuss.
I'm rolling up the curtain right now.
Here comes the curtain.
Here we go.
So my business is financial services.
Yep.
And I've been doing it for a little while now, and I've one of the largest financial companies in the world.
One of the best as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, we're quite qualified.
Yeah.
Anyway, some of the products that are available to everybody, middle America does not know about. So I can't. If you're age 60 and you've been in, say, a 401k, and you're watching what's going on in the market, and it's my sarcasm again, your 401k is at best a 201k right now.
Oh, it's not even a 201k.
It's headed for a 101k. So,
and guess what it's based on? That flipping stock market, dude.
Yeah. So the thing,
and you know what's been happening to the stock market, right?
Yeah, we're back to 08. The trouble that has gone
all that was
Yeah, it's wiped away. So if you're age 60 and you're staring down retirement right now, you're looking at your 101k and you're like, what the hell happened?
And you know what? You didn't get a Christmas card either, pal.
No. So the reason I'm here and I get so passionate, we do a lot of things and we help clients with money depending upon their scenario. But there's a product that you can put your money certainly and tie it to the market, but you never ever take a loss. Your CPA doesn't know about it. He's not trained in it.
You know, he's not making any money on it. That's why he's not telling you.
Yeah, we could spend time on that.
Right?
You know?
I mean, that's another problem.
I had my illustrious tax appointment yesterday, and I've been with he's an older gentleman, with him for years. And yesterday I said, Ray, you know what I do. And I said, you have vision of clients that are 18 years old and some are 88 years old. And they have money all over the place, from CDs to mutual funds to 401k, different Roths, IRAs, and things of that nature. Here's what I do. And he actually knew a little bit about it, so he asked that I share some literature with which I did last night. And when I went in to see him today, because I had to pay the bill, went in to see him, he said, I watched...
Was it a big check, Mark?
He always helps me win.
Okay,
and he
nice.
doesn't cost me much.
I love it.
Yeah, he doesn't cost.
He doesn't?
He doesn't cost me much at all.
Wow, we got to talk to this guy.
Yeah. He goes, I love the stuff you sent me, and he goes, I had no idea, and he goes, I haven't been in that world since 03, 04.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's products to where you can put your money at whatever age, and you can put it in the market and literally not take any losses. They're fixed or indexed, products. Most of the free world, the 95%, 8 out of 10, however derogatory you want to get, were born, bred, and raised that the stock market is a long-term play, which is agreed. But what if you're the guy that's 60 or 62 right now, or you were him in 08?
You got 20 years left.
And now you're a greeter at Walmart. And it sucks. It didn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
Most of middle America doesn't know about products that are available to them or the possibilities for
cat
their
food's
money.
on aisle 6.
Right?
Crazy, dude.
And I can't help you reach it because I'm hunched back because I'm old.
And you're back at the same mentality that got you there in the first place, because you haven't broken the mold.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
And I've spent a good amount of time today kind of talking up our leadership, if you will, but now I'm going to go the other way.
Okay.
Our leadership regarding the bean counters up in Capitol Hill, they want us in 401ks, and that's where they want us to live, in that box. They don't want you just checking in savings, because now they have to take care of you when you retire. So they've created 401ks, Roth, IRAs, and that sort of thing. But they want you in that world. It's still limited. You don't have to live in that world. There are products out there that you can bank where the banks bank. You can bank how the banks bank. It's all very real. Now, when I talk to potential clients about it, I'll be real direct with you. I've literally had people look at me and go, that's not possible. Oh, interesting. My $543 billion company, the top 3 in the world, and I'll drop a name, the sibling company, Transamerica. These guys don't hold any weight at all.
Hell no.
They don't hold any water at all, do they?
They don't have to, right?
Oh, Jesus. So I'm pretty qualified with respect to what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And there's not a chance in the world that those types of companies that we run with as providers would be allowing us to discuss their products like I am right now with Chris in the room, unless we were viable.
Yeah.
And it's you're talking about people's money. It is one of the most highly regulated businesses, period.
The reason they want you to get in this Roth IRA, this 401k, the government knows how to market that. They market the bejesus out of that.
So a little secret on the 401k, when it is time to start drawing down, this is a fact. The government can tell you how much percentage of your $1 million harvest that they're going to take at any time. They can change it at any day.
Anytime.
So for argument's sake, currently it's 20%. So if you made $100,000, you're going to walk away with 80. But literally, anytime. They can change it, and it could be 60%. It could be 70%.
Here's a problem that I have. Who in the hell gave them the right to take that percentage from you?
Yeah.
You know why? Because when you signed on the dotted line, you gave them permission to dip into your account with all this money that your great-grandfather has put into place, or your grandfather, or you, for that matter.
Yeah.
And then you've given them permission to draw blood at any time. And you know what? Shame on you for not thinking about it or looking into it.
Well, like I said, they want you in that box. And to not be too long-winded.
Here's the Thorazine, Mark. Right?
To not, there's another bucket, or box. We all are able to include ourselves. We're just not invited to that dance.
Yeah.
I'll have some fun with Chris. I did this with him once before, and I'll do it again. He'll remember as I start. Hey, Chris, you've been in charge of many businesses.
Yes.
You run your own businesses, so you're a different thinking guy. You're a bit of an entrepreneur.
Yep.
So the last time you worked for somebody, I think, was 30-plus years ago, and you were a cop.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep.
Okay.
That's it.
So, but let me ask you this. Chris, and I know the answers because he and I are close, he banks at Wells Fargo and Chase, yes or no?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so it's because we've had this talk. Chris, how many times when you're standing in line to make your business deposit or whatever you're doing, how many times has the manager come over to you and said, hey, Mr. Moss, you're kicking tail. We want to sit down with you and help you manage your cash. How many times have they done that?
Every single time.
Really?
Yes. They want to gobble me up. They want me to put my money in this 401k. And I completely run.
Yeah.
I can't. From what I hear from Mark, man, are you kidding me? Yeah. You got to have a lobotomy to put your money into a Roth IRA. Anything with IRA or a 401k, don't do it because you're setting yourself up for a huge explosion.
So what a bank does, and we're all privy to one side of what I'm going to say. Well, actually, both sides. So you got your money in your checking and savings, and you're getting well under 1%, but Jesus, we'll call it 1%. Okay.
Yeah.
So what the bank will do, like Wells Fargo, they'll go out and they'll do an auto loan at 4, 5, 6, 8%. I don't know.
Yeah, they will.
And they'll do a credit card at 29.
They hope that you don't miss a payment, right?
Well, so understand this: your money is sitting in the bank at less than 1%, but we're going to call it a point. The cost of living is 3.5.
Yeah,
inflation
it's
is
depressing.
So you're losing
as you're sitting there.
You're sitting there, you're losing percentage, and Wells Fargo is loaning your money out. In a lot of cases, back to you. You get a Wells Fargo auto loan.
Yep.
And you're paying, 4%, 5%, because you think you're doing really well.
Yep.
Which is, I don't know, call it 8%.
Yep.
But what the bank does is they loan your money out. You're in the red, and they're in major black. Now, if you could take your money and put it in something that was just 6 points yield, there's plenty of opportunity to do bigger, but I don't want to step out of line. But 6 points versus 1. So here's a thing called the rule of 72.
Yeah.
And write this shit down. So I'm going to give you $10K. It's in the bank. You have to invest it. You got to let it grow. You got to do something regarding growth. If you leave that at 1%, wherever you put your money, let's just say Wells Fargo, if you leave it there, it's going to take 72 years to double into 20K.
That's right.
Now follow me. If you're earning 2 points, now it'll take you 36 years to double to 20K.
That's right.
Okay. Now, let's just jump to 6. So the rule of 72 is you take the 6, divide it into 72. That tells you how many years it's going to take for it to double. Now, if you're getting 6 points, what is that, 12? 12, 96, 12. Okay, so that's 54, 9 times 8. So what is it, an 8-year, an almost 9-year run?
You want an air calculator, Mark?
No, I'm good.
All right.
So your money will double in, call it 8 to 9 years.
Yes.
I should say this. Their money that they're loaning out, because they're yielding 6 points back,
right,
is going to double every, we'll call it 8 years. Yours is still sitting in the checking account that they're nursing off the teat.
Yep.
And it's going to still take 72 years to double.
So I'm not going to get anything if I'm...
Now check this out. Check this out. Let's say they're loaning the money out at 10%. So it's going to double every 7.2 years.
Yeah.
Let's say they're putting the money out there at 20%. It's going to double every 3.5-ish years. Do you see what's happening?
Oh, they're making all the money, and you're supplying them the power to do it.
Correct. So this is what Middle America does. They put money in play. It sits in a checking or savings. I've met a lot of clients that it just sits there out of paranoia. They don't know what to do. And the bank...
They think it's easy to reach.
Well, there's something to be said for having a certain amount of your money liquid. Absolutely. You know, we talk about having different streams of income.
Sure.
You want to diversify your money. I'm not saying take everything from one bucket and pour it over here, but sit down with somebody like me and strategize a path that will get you to where you want to go and do it safely and, you know, more as financially sound as you can. So we're not here all day. I'll wrap it up with this. People ask me, what do I do? And I'll share the story again. When we were kids, you got a puzzle. And there's the picture of the puzzle, and it's a barn with a horse with a lake in the back.
Yeah, right.
And it's a 500-piece puzzle.
I got that puzzle.
Yeah, we all had the puzzle.
Yeah.
And we love puzzles. So if you open that up and shake out the 500 pieces, it's a mess. It's all over the place. Now, what we do in our business, and we're not CPAs and we're not Wall Street people, we teach people, we educate, we enable them, we empower them to take those pieces of the puzzle. We help them put it together in such a way to where it's now the picture is complete. So they went from having a bunch of pieces, not knowing what to do and trying to figure it out and taking forever. We'll come in and we help them assemble that puzzle to get to the picture that they wanted, which is their life. The end game, I call it.
Yeah, right.
So that's what we do. Now, we operate over here, and I'm kind of pointing to the right of the room. And I'm not knocking the Wall Street people at all, or the market, I'm not. But there are ways to put your money in play that literally there's no loss. So before I wrap up with this, Chris loves the concrete thing, so we're going to do it again.
I love it.
So picture this. Take your $10K, you put it into some vehicle that maybe I helped you with or my group helped you with.
Yes.
And we have all seen the stock market chart. It's like a bad heart attack hospital chart. It spikes up, it spikes down, it spikes, up. It's all over the place like a roller coaster. So what we do with our clients' money is now the market opens up and let's say it starts to grow. You know, it's increasing, which is great. We got black ink, we're earning money. Then you have a slide, a downturn. What your money does is it steps off the playing field. Your principal levels off, and then you, for us boys in the room, you backfill that principal behind you with concrete. So you just made a step up, and now you're solidified. You can't fall back. You never lose principal.
Anything.
Ever.
Yeah.
And then when it starts to increase again, you enjoy the ride. The market goes up, however much it goes up. And then when it pauses and it flattens out or certainly declines, your money steps off the playing field. It backfills with the concrete. So our hospital chart does nothing but increase like stairs when it's time to go to bed.
You got a good thing of health.
Yeah. It just constantly goes up. I've had people literally look me in the eye and tell me that doesn't exist. Yet I do it every day. Because they're not used to it. And
ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. Our CPAs, God bless them, their job is to save you as much money from 019's income today.
Yeah.
But what they're not helping you with is the long term and to get your pocket picked like Chris illustrated when it's 30 years, it's time to retire, you've got your, say, $1 million harvest, you know, your 10K turned into $1 million and you rode the stock market, and it did increase for sure. They don't understand what we do. First of all, they're not licensed to talk about it, so they can't.
Right.
But it's a whole other world. We run on a different side of the fence that they do, and we run on the side where financial advisors do and financial planners do, and we show people where to put their money that the hitters put their money. You can do the same. You just don't know how to get there.
You know, I wish you were around when I was 20.
Oh, you and me both.
You know,
I wish I was around when I was 20.
And doing this, right?
Yeah.
That would have been sick, man.
It's a big snowball.
So the reality is even if you're doing this as a young person, you don't have a solar system or whatever. If you have a solar system, that's money already created, saved monthly. You can stuff over there. I won't say it anymore, but whatever you can do to reduce your income, you can take that money and sock it over to the right and stuff it over there. And, I mean, what does it cost to get something like this started, Mark? I mean, what's the smallest amount of money somebody can stuff in?
Well, in this particular product, it's predicated on where you want to get to. So most people, and Chris is alluding to, whether he realizes or not, hey, what's my payment? It's not like that. What we do, we get your puzzle box, and that tells me where you want to go.
Yeah.
What color horse it is, what color barn it is, and then we'll take a snapshot of who you are financially, and we will reverse engineer it, is the phrase I use, and then I can supply you that answer.
Well, based on a conversation.
But here, I'll give you a story.
Where they want to be, right?
Yep. I'm going to give you a story. Stories are always good for such things. So there's a gentleman that works in my office, and he has 2 young children. I'm talking like 6 and 8, little boy, little girl. And he does really well in his business, very well. We'll call him Steve.
Okay.
Anyway, so what Steve has done, he makes a decent living, and he does on auto draft, and this particular product I was speaking of, which is called an IUL. If I wasn't clear, I apologize.
Those are my favorite letters, by the way.
Yeah, an IUL. So what he does with his little kids, he has on auto draft the equivalent. He's got like 4 going, 2 and 2, but he's auto drafting automatic deposit for his little boy and his little girl. $220 a month for each one of these little kids.
Stop it.
Now, when they hit retirement, and trust me, it ain't going to be 60, but let's just say 55.
I'm thinking like 20.
Well, when I said retirement, but because we're going to talk about college in a minute.
No.
Hold on, we're going to talk about that. So this is on autopilot, and that snowball has started when they were 6 and 8, so it's going to get big.
Yeah.
So the projections are when they're time to retire, and I'll just say 55, they're both 55.
Okay.
That $200+ a month that's been going and growing will be worth $4.2 million.
Are you kidding me?
That's a fact.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's a big snowball going in a market rolling downhill that doesn't get interrupted by losses.
That just keeps putting that concrete machine there.
Yeah,
just
it perpetually
pouring
grows. And what he shares with us, what he's going to do with his kids when it comes college time, that snowball is going to be so big. He's able, in this product, you can go pull it out any time. You don't have to wait till you're 59 and a half. So he is going to make a deal with his kids. You are going to take a loan out for 4 years of college. You're going to do it. And you're going to pay that loan. You graduate, I'm going to write a check back to you.
Nice.
Now, ask me where he's going to get the money from.
Oh, I know where he's getting it from. He's getting it from that big lump of money he's just sitting there.
It didn't cost him anything.
Didn't cost him a dime,
It didn't cost him his dime. And he's not clearing that big harvest out. It's just going to be a chunk for whatever college they went to. So he's going to get kids that understand the power of money, the snowball rolling. They're going to be college grads, and that product will have paid for his kids' college.
You know, the next yield of kids that are coming up with dads like Steve that are actually teaching their kids about money and how to save.
This is what we're trying to do.
And by the way, if something catastrophic happens to those kids, am I right? They're covered. They have a little insurance policy, and mom and dad don't have to sweat about it.
Yeah.
You know, little Billy and Sally gets taken care of.
So this product
things are good.
Chris is talking about, I call it a trifecta. So in this particular product, they'll, in no particular order, they'll get a life insurance policy that's till age 120, so that's permanent insurance.
120, you hear that?
Yeah. And you want to jump into this game as young as possible. I have a 1-year-old client. She's perfectly healthy, and it's predicated on health. So they didn't even do any meds on her because she's healthy.
It was an airplane flyby.
Yeah.
There she is. She's fine.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah.
So you want to get in the game on the playing field as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And then the part 2 of the trifecta is you can tack on what is called LTC, or long-term care. 8 out of 10 people are going to need some sort of care when they get older, and they can't take care of themselves. It's coming, guys. It comes for all of us.
You mean my Depends ain't going to work anymore after a while?
No, and you can't take care of yourself.
Well, you know me, Mark, right? You got to take me out to the cornfield.
Right, but we had that talk. I thought it was off air. So you can be looked after and not ruin your household's legacy and your personal financial legacy. And then part 3 of the trifecta is your snowball is growing and it's not affected by the negative falls in the market. So you get life coverage, you get a snowball that grows perpetually without getting hit, and you can do an LTC add-on if you want for when you're old.
You know, the greatest thing about this is, and here you are, the IUL, the trifecta, has been described several times today. And if you do not know what to do, you need to contact Mark Scholl. Mark, your number is going to be on the website. What is your number if you want people to call you?
951-396-0752.
Those are the 9 best numbers that you'll ever dial in your entire life. I don't care if you're 5 or 105. Mark needs to get a call. You need to wake up, pull the Band-Aid, open your ears, and listen.
Pop the hood.
Just do one of those, what do they call that thing you do? What is it called? There's a certain, you do an investigation. What is it?
Okay. So what Chris is talking about, you'll get a, from my group, my group, you'll get a no charge, it's just a courtesy financial needs analysis. And this is where we sit down with families and we look at their puzzle box.
And you know the greatest thing is, Mark, they pay you to help them.
Yeah, the providers. I get asked a lot by clients, and it's almost offensive.
How much you making there, Mark?
How much you making? And our providers fight for shelf space for our company, particularly, to use their products because we have such a successful, broad, wide audience that we bring to the table. It's a big deal, and not enough people know about it, and I'm real passionate about it, and I wish more people would swallow their pride, pop the hood.
Just do it, man.
It doesn't cost you anything. Nobody's going to judge. We're here to help, and we do it for free.
Hello?
Free.
Hey, Mark, man, every single time I see you, man, it gets bigger and better, and it's more positive every time. I can't thank you enough.
I love it.
For hanging out, man, here at the Energy Hour. And, I'm going to be passing this on, as you know. Give them your number one more time.
951-396-0752.
You hear that, everybody? Pick the flipping phone up, give Mark a call, and if you don't know what it is, just go to QHIinc.com/TEO. Check it out. We're the Energy Hour. Thanks for hanging out with us, Mark.
Nice.
Appreciate you guys.
The Energy Hour was brought to you by
Beauty, efficiency, and power. The only product we know in the solar industry is Solaria. Maximum power. For nearly 25 years, Solaria has set the pace for solar panel performance, efficiency, reliability, quality, and design. Maximum power. Solaria continues to leverage its patented technology, engineering expertise, and sophisticated automation into creating one of the most attractive, energy-efficient solar panels available on the market today. Maximum power. What really defines home solar? How about Solaria? Quality you can trust for your home or business. Solaria is the new benchmark for solar energy. Where do you get this panel for your home or business? Go to QHIinc.com. That's QHIINC.com/Solaria. SOLARIA.
Got latest electric bill? Is it less than last month or last year? Probably not. But if you had a solar system from QHI, it would be. Your electric meter could be running backwards. Right now, get a QHI system installed for no money down, no out-of-pocket expenses. Get an immediate savings on your electric bill. Call 909-609-5437. Solar is all they do. Call QHI 909-609-5437.
Capture the joyful magic of the holiday season with Virtual Santa. Virtual Santa is a high-definition projection effect that walks, waves, laughs, eats cookies, and puts presents under the tree. From outside, it's so real, you swear Santa's in your house. Virtual Santa, originally seen on ABC's The Great Christmas Light Fight. You can choose from traditional Virtual Santa or new African American Santa. Holiday effects include Virtual Santa, Mrs. Claus, Santa's Workshop with Christmas elves, and so much more. Buy one effect or a bundle, available in HD DVD, digital download, or USB flash drive. Also available in LED projection bundles. For a winning Christmas display that will delight your neighbors young and old, visit us at virtualsanta.com and become known as the house where Santa lives. Virtual Santa, where holiday spirit begins.
Thank you for listening to The Energy Hour. Visit them on the internet by going to qhiinc.com/TEO. That's qhiinc.com/TEO.